All right, my darlings, my friends, I was going to lead us on some more guided, deeper healing. I am also opening up the chat for specific questions. So, this is the opportunity to ask me anything about life stories, which can be kind of interesting, or your personal health issues or stagnation. So, I do offer one on one sessions for guided, intuitive, channeled messages. What that looks like is that I tune into my bodily sensations and I can feel people's stuff like I'm living in your skin, which sounds really creepy now that I'm saying it out loud. But basically, I can tune into a back pain or a weird shiver or a chronic headache or deeper issues. So, I use my body as a guide and a map energetically. And then what happens is I can see how that issue got stuck there, what led up to it. And then I ask what it needs to be released. So I see the body as holding on to all of our experiences, whether it's physical activity or emotional taking on and repression that we don't even know we do. And the body tends to be a perfect map in a way that people go, "Oh, how did you know that?" And be genuinely surprised, curious, and sometimes pretty freaked out. So, it is an opportunity for you to ask questions about your own bodily issues. Thank you guys as everybody kind of filters in. Rhonda and Seat, Monica, John, wonderful to have you here, and Nikki. So I have gone over the kind of foundation of bodywork many times. One is what we put in is what we become. So we feed it with life. That means nutrient dense food, clean water, and air are the main ingredients to live, thrive, and heal. Most people forget about the breath, which is why I kindly remind people that the magic sauce is right under your nose and free. Thanks to the earth and the trees and the algae and all the wonderful green things that breathe for us. The next is let go. So, most of our clean out systems have been blocked, hijacked, shut down, shamed. And so the body is constantly trying to release its sludge, toxins, inflammation, yet it doesn't know how because it forgot and was told that's disgusting. Hold that in. You shouldn't do that in public. So, that's the farts, the cries, the sweats, the mucus, the coughing, the shivers, the shakes, the scratching, all the stuff that's going to bring inflammation out of the body. I say, let's normalize all the nasty stuff, the toxins leaving better out than in. But what people always miss is that these things start to compress. They compress because we make ourselves small, they compress because we feel tight because of stress, because we hold our breath. Anytime there's compression, it's going to hold on to that stuff. Anytime we soften and relax, it's going to release it. Most people aren't going to believe me that healing is this simple, but it is. It's why massage works. It's why stretching and yoga work. It's why relaxed people tend to not hold on to so much. It's why a lot of ancient methodologies work because it's bringing in more circulation as it softens the tissue. That blood brings in nutrient dense, hydrated, and oxygenated stuff that every cell needs and then the cells regenerate. Isn't that amazing? So, we hold, we don't realize it, it builds up over decades, and then people's stuff breaks. Now, the body is constantly giving us little single signals and symbols and communication to let us know that we are all suffering and hurting. And it does it with pain because why? Compression pushes against nerves, nerves signal and fire and tell the brain, ow, I'm getting smashed. So I'm going to have everybody take a deep breath and take up some space. Feel your body stretch. Feel your chest open up. Feel your stomach open up. And just feel how good that feels. And then watch it melt, soften. We can do it with our mind. We subconsciously hold. We can consciously let go. So why is breathing and relaxing not fixing your issues? Well, because the compression has gone into multiple stages of density. I watched it, I tracked it, and what happens is you'll start seeing nodules. So people start seeing nodules. If those aren't worked out, they turn into calcifications. They turn into hard, dense tissue that almost feels like bone, but isn't. So then that's when we need to manually break up the calcification. So I show people with YouTube videos on it and these things, and during live one on one sessions with people, that if they actually just feel what's going on inside, they'll notice something's tight and something's pained. So I look for the pain. I'm asking the pain, show me where you're at. Now, why do people not feel pain all the time? They're numb, they're disassociated, they're checked out, they're not checked into their body. The second people check into their body, they can feel stuff. It will signal what the body needs, and the body will naturally try to do it. But we live in a weird society that doesn't let us do all the natural things. I want you to think about a kid. How are they moving? Oh, I have 3. They're shaking out, they're moving around, they're using their whole joint, they're using every part of their body until we tell them, sit down, you're gonna fall. All of these things over and over and over again. In school, tight, down. So all that stuff over years and years and years and years and years is an entrainment. So what I do is I teach people and retrain the muscles how to be at ease. As soon as we're at ease, things start to release. So let's all take a deep breath. Soften again. I remind you because it's hard to remember this basic thing. Soften. So we're going to pump in the air. We're going to let go of the crap. We're going to soften the muscles. We can do those all with our mind and with really gentle exercises. Then we're going to start using manual breaking up, which is basically squish and roll, squish and roll, squish and roll. So I'll use my hands like a vice. And what I do is I squeeze the tissue and I roll it. So if you feel like doing it, grab your arm. You're just sitting here anyways. Maybe you're multitasking with a bunch of tabs, whatever. But grab your arm for a second and just squish it and roll it. Vice grip it like this and move it and see what the tissue is doing under there. See if there's an achy part, a twingy part, a sharp part. See if the tissue rolls or if it's hard as a rock where it almost feels like it doesn't move at all, right? So there's hard as a rock, and then there's ropey where you can actually feel it move. Then it starts getting noduley, then it starts getting crackly and sandy. After the tissue softens, guess what? The bones start to crack. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if anybody likes ASMR bone cracking videos, but that's actually a thing on the internet. As soon as the tissue is soft, then the body naturally cracks. So think about when you wake up in the morning, and when you wake up and you, all of a sudden you're getting all these little pops and cracks because the body was soft and relaxed at night. Those cracks and pops, we now know, are inflammatory gas leaving the joint. So a special part of the body work is that the bones actually start to calcify and build up toxins and build up inflammation around every single joint. Now, people do chiropractic where they do readjustment. It's just releasing the gas so that the nerve signals can go through, so that the blood can go through. And that's healing, softening and opening up the body. That's crazy simple, right? But here's where, and I'm glad there's still a lot of you guys here. Liam, thank you for being here. Nikki, thank you for being here. When we have something that has built up over years, usually people have the shoulder thing, it has to go somewhere. So I tell people everything leaving from the shoulders, throat, chest is all leaving out the arms. So I'll have people do a couple quick things. And if you guys want to join in, please do. I want you to, we did the squish and roll. So that's one way to start to just see what's in there, start to oxygenate the tissue, soften the tissue, roll the tissue, feel what's going on. Then I use what I call the meat tenderizer. And we're going to hit ourselves. And you know what's really interesting? All of those monks, the Shaolin monks, they hit themselves and they don't feel pain. Why? Because their muscles are not dense. It's not shooting a signal of a nervous system response of pain because they don't have the pain because their tissue is soft. So we're going to bang it. And I tell people, how do you make like your chicken? They have a chicken dish here where they bang it with a hammer to tenderize it, right? So meat tenderizing is what we're doing. Now, after we do this, just do it a couple times. I know it looks weird, and things like that, but I want you to feel the tingle in your fingers, that this is real. That as soon as you bang on that tissue, move around that tissue, breathe in and soften that tissue. Notice the little zing in your fingers. Feel the little heat that just shot from your forearm through your wrist and into your fingers. Maybe you feel like it caught in your wrist. Maybe you feel it caught in a certain joint. But there's actually an energy, a heat, an inflammation, inflamed, hot, moving somewhere, and it goes right into the fingertips. So, where does the first sign of dead tissue exist? Feet and hands. Where does the first sign of lack of circulation show up? Feet and hands, because our circulation system has to go the whole way from the heart down to the end and back. So all of this stuff starts getting lodged in the fingertips, and it's like a tube. So instead of pressing issues down the fingertips, anybody who's had a deep tissue massage in their shoulder knows that the next day they have a sore arm because all of that energy just got pushed down, all that toxic, inflamed energy. I say energy, but it's real physical stuff. So, what I do in a session is I squish and roll my fingertips first because I see it like a tube. It's like a tube that you're trying to push water through from the source, and it can't get past the stones. So I take the stones out of the end of the tube first, and it's almost like pulling energy out. And the crazy thing is, you can actually feel the tingles, the twitches, and the electrical zaps if you're sensitive enough, that is where the energy and heat move. Now, I can say all of this all day, and people can say, oh, that sounds nice. It's very simple. That's great. I have seen 50 arthritic hands go from nodules, hard, purple, huge knuckles to disappearing in a session. Now, it's painful. This is where I'm going to say we need to go through the pain. We need to find the pain. It doesn't mean it has to be painful. I say find that spot that's that good feeling. Martin, hi. It's good to see you here. So, and Michael, thank you guys. I'm going through the bodywork theories, I guess you could call them, which I've done many times now. But I'm going a little bit deeper to go through what levels of density there are that you can actually discover and explore and get to know your own body. Is it hard as a rock? Is it cold? Is it purple? Is skin tissue dying off? If any of those things are happening, or is there pain? Or is it numb? All of those symbols show different levels of blockage in the body. So when you can actually feel the tissue and see if it's hard as a rock, or if it moves and it's ropey, or if it's crackly and noduley, you'll start to be able to break it up layer by layer. So when I'm going through the body work, I start at the fingertips and then I'm cracking. Then I'm going to move into the knuckles and pull out because we're pulling in. So a lot of the work I do is pulling outward. And during this, a key part of it is to relax, soften the tissue with mind, tell it. I want everybody now just to do a little experiment. Take a deep breath into the face as if you're lighting it up, as if it's a balloon expanding. Now watch all the muscles in your face just soften, unravel, unwind, melt off. I want you to check in with your shoulder. Are they up Are they down? Breathe into them. Drop them. Feel them melt. So we can melt and soften and open the tissue of our body just by visualizing it and sending energy there. You just did it. Now I want you to feel the warmth change. I want you to feel the circulation going in. And if you can't feel anything, I want you to check if you're here. So take a deep breath into the belly. Fill it with a balloon, like a balloon. Watch it. Now, when I say fill it like a balloon, I actually mean push it out. Actually feel like you're inflating it and push it out in all directions. Let's do 3 of those, and I'm going to have you feel something. Take a breath in. Push the belly out. Take in more air. Now watch all of your guts, your intestines, just melt like soft, wriggly pasta. And exhale. Sigh. Do that again. Big belly breath. Fill it up. Push the belly out. Watch it gurgle. I want you to notice if there's any gurgling. I want you to notice if there's any gas, because most of us are holding our stomachs in. The second we give it space, things start to move. That's what I mean by getting our purgative systems back online, because these things are held and constricted. So I wanted to just give you an example of how quickly the body responds. And yeah, you guys you're all here for a reason to check out this deeper healing system and see if it resonates with you and try some new things out. A lot of my sessions are us doing weird stuff. It's stretching the face, it's stretching places you didn't even know you could stretch. And it's a lot of loosey-goosey. It's a lot of just checking in. Am I holding tight and cinching? Where's my lower back? Chilled out. Can we all do a yawn breath? Open the mouth. Stretch out the face muscles. Stretch out the jaw. Move it, wiggle it. Hear if there's grinding in there, that crackle that I was telling you about. And then watch your tongue soften. Watch your face soften. Watch your eye sockets soften. Watch your forehead soften. Feel yourself connect to your body. Feel its sensations. Feel a shiver go through you or a heaviness somewhere. Start to pay attention, because the less we put in of tension, the less we have to take out, the less that accumulates and builds and presses down and creates more density that oxygen cannot go through, that blood cannot go through. The blood is going to bring in the nutrient dense, oxygen rich, flowing, hopefully with lots of water, blood that will heal your body and regenerate your tissues, to reverse age, to metabolize faster. People that do this work say their energy levels go up, their sleep quality increases, their dreams come back, and their pain disappears, their acne disappears, their hair starts growing back, their grays reverse, because all of these things are signs of aging, but it's tissue dying off because it lacks the life ingredients. Isn't that crazy? So freaking simple. And I want it to be in every person's hands and knowledge that you can heal your body. You can listen to your body. You have power to shift what's going on inside of you. And it's calling out for attention to heal it, to give it what it needs. You can also talk to it. You can ask it, what do you need? Get into a quiet, receptive space just by a few inhales and exhales. And hear that first thing that pops into your head. What is that tingle, twitch, ouch, zing, dying off skin, dying off hair, arthritis, back pain, shoulder pain, jaw clenching, tinnitus? What does it need? And it will actually tell you. And I'll tell people, ask the universe, what's my medicine? And it'll give you something. Usually it's anti-inflammatory. It'll be like a natural tea, like turmeric, or it'll be a blood building tea, like Jamaica, super red and rich and full of iron and magnesium. And it will actually be calling for the exact nutrients because our body has an insanely brilliant wisdom within it. During my pregnancy, I had cravings for specific nutrients that I didn't even know were in the food until I looked it up, that were building bone and blood and tissue and hair of a human, like bone broth, like salt, like different things. It was actually asking for the exact thing. So I'll tell people, start to pay attention to those little things. What is it that it's asking from you? Something like nettle is incredibly detoxing. It helps with heavy metals. It helps with purification. It helps, basically, you'll read that it helps like liver and kidney function, which are both clean out systems, right? So there's so much wisdom within your body, but mostly we have to tune into it, ask it what it wants, talk to it as if it's a real living thing, which it is, and then work with that level. So I'm going now through some of the deeper levels of the healing stuff that I didn't include in other lives, noticing the texture and density of the tissue, noticing the color shift of your skin. Is your skin soft? Is it peeling? Is it crackling? Is it purple? Purple means not enough oxygen, not oxygenated. If it's deep red, it means it's full of oxygen. If it's swollen, there's something trapped there. There's something pressing there. There's something stagnant there. Chinese medicine knew a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff. Ayurveda knew a lot of this stuff. But a lot of these things all got separated out. All right, so breaking up the tissue, I showed you guys the squish and roll where you're actually just pressing on the muscle yourself. You don't need a massage therapist. They're great. Go. But you have permission to feel in what's going on in your body. Feel if it wiggles, feel if it's tight, feel if it's hot. Then we went through the meat tenderizer, soften the tissue because it pushes down and squishes back up. Then I want to show you this one's scraping. It's called gua sha in Chinese medicine, and they'll use a rock, but you can use your knuckles and you can scrape. And I actually want everybody to scrape right here because everybody's got this crazy bone. And see how mine's pretty flat? There's a little lump on this side. It's more flat. So take your knuckles and just press in and scrape along your skin. And I want you to feel the little zing. I want you to feel the like zzz that goes across. Can anybody feel that? Now, where is that electricity going? Where's that energy going? It's going to your fingers. Feel it. It's there. This is usually in the session when people are like, oh, energy, inflammation. There's something moving. And I'm like, yeah, it's going out. Just like I said, dense, hot stuff goes out and down. It drains. It drops. Gravity pulls it down. So that's why the feet sweat. That's why the hands sweat. That's why they stink. This stuff's trying to flush out and down. So the electricity is going out. So now that we moved, yay, thank you guys for doing it. So you can feel the little zing. Hey, skin, what's underneath there? Do you feel any crackles, some nodules, some bumps? Do you hit certain places and it goes zoo? And then you can feel it push towards the fingers. Now that we push that energy, inflammation, toxins, stuff, let's squish on the fingers a little. Squish and roll. Squish and roll. Anybody can do it anywhere. I do this one a lot of times when I'm on the bus because hands are exit points, feet are exit points. If that end of the tube, that leaving place is blocked, nothing goes out. So I keep my hands and feet open. Squish and roll, squish and roll. Soften it up, shake it out. Wiggle it out. Check the loosey-goosey. Are you holding again? Everybody, melt again. Are you holding your jaw? Melt. Are you furrowing the brow? Melt. Just a check-in, an awareness check. Am I holding? Am I tightening? Am I constricting anywhere? Now, for anybody that did the scrape, like gua sha, now you're going to feel a zing. Now all that heat just moved down. Then we did the squish and roll. That's going to soften up the tissue, warm up the tissue, open up the tissue. Feel the crackles, feel the nodules, feel the click clicks, feel the ones that are achy. Pay attention. Know thyself physically. We're embodied here in these bodies. Now, let's do a little pull, crack, wiggle. So I'm pulling out and pushing up, pulling out and pushing up, pulling out and pushing up, out and pushing up. You might get a little crack. They say don't crack your hands, it causes arthritis. Opposite world. Opposite world. Anybody knows they stretch their neck and then get a crack, it feels a little less. They go to get chiropractic, there's less pressure on the joints. There's more blood flowing in, there's less pressure on the nerve because you open, soften the tissue, blood flows in, and that nervous system signal getting smashed, nerves getting smashed in dense tissue, you have relief. That's as simple as it is, but we apply this to all of the body. So, did anybody get some good crackies in the knuckles? So, you can actually work through each knuckle. You can actually press along, press and pull out on each knuckle from the sides, from the tops. I use what's called a vice grip. Squish and roll, feel the zing, wiggle it out. Yeah, Martin. Selena, Dragon's Nest, dude, thank you guys for trying this stuff. I'll tell people, you can hear me talk all day, but I want you to feel it. I want you to know that this is actually what's happening. Now, after we did the little squish and roll, after we did the pull and crack, my very official serious names for these things, I want you to look at your hand. This is where in a session I'll say, stop, look at your hand. I want you to, whichever hand you were working on, see if the texture of the skin changed. The knuckles went down. Feel if you're wearing a ring, see if it wiggles around and it's looser because the body responds so quickly. I will watch someone's hand get half the size in an hour. And then all of a sudden their shoulder drops too. Because all of this got backed up from a channel, a tube inside the body that was holding the inflammation, the pain, the density, and the stuff in. So we start from the end, we pull and crack, and we go layer by layer. So I'll do fingertips, pull, knuckles, pull, scrape and squeeze, and then I go back out to the fingers. And it's almost just like pull and drag the stuff out, pull and drag the stuff out. So now I want you to crack your wrists. So I grab them like this, and I want you to just wiggle it. I want you to just squeeze in there, move it around, feel where it's knotted, where it's tight, where it's all blocked up and lacks flexibility. We have so much more flexibility in our joints than we use. And this is why the stretching helps because it opens up the tissue. It's incredible. And it goes quickly. So look at your hand. Look at your hand and see if it's a little less purple. See if it's a little brighter. See if the knuckles go down. See if your ring moves. Because after 5 to 10 minutes of this, you will see an immediate difference. It is ridiculous. This is my favorite part when people are shocked. I'm thinking about starting to do real life videos of this. So one of the things with arthritis is that people's knuckles cause so much pain and they lack mobility. So they don't actually they don't have the strength either to press and really dig in. So I'll tell people, put your finger on the side of the table and roll it back and forth like clay and you'll feel it. Everybody's sitting somewhere now. If you're at a desk, if you're at a table, stick your finger on the edge and roll it and see what's in there. Do you feel those little nodules and crunchies that I was telling you about? Because they're there. That's how it works. Hard as a rock, nodule, ropey, and then crackly. And the body goes through stages of density, and all of them can be released through this. So I'm going to have you shake them out. And if you watch any top athlete, any of the guys in the Olympics, any of the guys in FIFA, or any of the like soccer teams, they're swinging their arms. Why? Because it's pushing the lactic acid down and out. You watch, they'll shake, they'll shimmy because they feel in their body the release as it moves outwards. Centrifugal force will take it outwards. This is all physics. It's incredible. Take a deep breath in. So, with our mind, we can soften our tissue. With our mind, we cannot take on as much tension. With our mind, we can remember to pump the system with oxygen, which is the first thing they give people in a hospital. Free. Under the nose. Life force. If people don't breathe during massage, they'll get a tiny percentage of the change. If you do deep, conscious, softening breaths during a massage, during yoga, during any modality, you'll see the result go up 5 times, 10 times, 100 times just by pumping more oxygen in the system, which is why I call it the foundation. Because if you're not pumping your blood and it's not oxygenating, you're not going to heal as fast. So, isn't that amazing? Free if we can just remember. Pump the system. I've taught people only breath work and I've watched them lose 20 pounds. No joke, no lifestyle change, just by having more efficient oxygen into the system. It's also why I open the nose and nasal channels because there's so much mucoid plaque and inflammation in the sinuses that are constantly trying to drain. And I'll open that up and have people take a breath and they will have more oxygen in their system because we need more. Then I just posted about the grab more breath. So we can do this one now. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I want to get a lot of different pieces that you can apply into your life and start seeing more at ease, better rested, faster regenerating wounds, old injuries disappearing, and chronic illnesses not catching on or completely healing. I know these seem like insane overpromises, but whatever. I've seen miracles. I've seen it over and over again. So, the grab more breath. This is where we're actually retraining the diaphragm. The diaphragm has become shallow, constricted, and tight, which is right over the solar plexus, right over the power center, right under that rib cage, right? So we're going to all inhale to the max capacity. Now, when you're at the max capacity, grab more. Think they're at the top, grab more. Think you're at the top, grab more. Feel it. Feel that expansion. You might feel a catch. You might feel a hitch. You might feel like a tightness or even a sharpness there from that muscle being like this, constricted, from stress, from, I did post about the corset, but all of this stuff used to be pumped all the time. And now we have an atrophied, weakened, tight diaphragm that can't even get the full lung capacity. So we're going to do that again. Inhale in. Grab more. Grab more. Grab more. Feel it. Soften. Do that a few times through the day. All of a sudden, you notice that you're taking on more breath with each inhale. More oxygen can flow through nasal passages. More oxygen can flow through a diaphragm that's open. But we've weakened it, atrophied it, tightened it, stagnated it. So it just needs some retraining to open back up. So I'll tell people a full breath. Is quite full. That's a breath. So most people do it here. Tiny little inhales. I don't know if anybody can hear the breathing, but they're so shallow. So when you really start pumping life force, you start seeing better color, more rosiness because red blood is oxygenated blood. You'll see people that do not have enough oxygen in their system because they are gray, they're sallow, they are yellow because there's not the rosiness in there because there's not blood rich or oxygen rich blood that shows pink, or they look kind of purple, gray, right? So notice the skin color that you see after a pumping breath. Notice the vibrancy and the clarity that you get when your brain is working properly from a good amount of oxygen. So I know I'm harping on breathing again, but really, I'll keep coming back to it because it's the pump, it's the foundation. Okay, so the levels of density we worked through, the it moving outward is something that we went to. The multiple ways to move it were basically squish and roll, pound and meat tenderize, scrape with the knuckles, stretch and crack, wiggle, see what moves, see and feel the heat. I want you guys to feel the difference in the heat of your hands right now. If you've been doing the breathing and a little bit of moving and wiggling and banging on your hands. So if you normally have cold hands, you can get circulation back in there. It means that there's not enough blood getting down to the ends. Cool? So another one is actually itching. So it's another layer of gua sha, but you can actually use your nails and use some scratch. It'll bring the heat. You'll feel in your skin heat, not just from the friction, but that is actually breaking up the tissue underneath and pulling the inflammation from inside out the skin. So that's kind of the top level. And you can start to experiment, get curious about what is the state of your body. So I'm going to ask you guys now, after some breathing exercises and after some pounding on your body, like the Shaolin monks and the squish and roll, I want you to just feel what's going on. So this is called the body scan or the muscle test. And I want you to notice if there's any place that feels tight. I want you to notice if you're cinching your back or holding your jaw or squishing your eyebrows together. I want you to notice how at ease you are, just as a baseline. And I want you to feel and try to remember the beginning of this video, which had many starts and stops. For you guys who didn't start early on, I was having some audio issues. But I just want you to feel and sense a tingle, a warmth, a heaviness, a twitch. These are all signals and a language of your body talking to you. So I want to open up the chat for questions because, guys, this is a free session to get channeled information, tuned in, specialized information for a pattern of your body. So after that scan, if you feel something going on, just bring it up. Hey, I'm having a flutteriness. Hey, there's some like floaters over my eyes. Hey, there's a tightness in my diaphragm. This is your opportunity. I had somebody else write, I am shocked that nobody uses the chat and interacts. I would like to do more of a Zoom, but I can't have so many people asking me. So if you want to add in something that's going on in your body, an ailment of what you want to know the underlying causes, or some guided work to show how to release that specific area, let me know. Cool. Feet, dry and purple and colder. Yeah. So, yes, anything I do for the hands is exactly what you can do for the feet. So, I don't love putting my feet out there. But yeah, basically you take each toe, you squish and roll, and then you scrape on the top. The other one that I absolutely love is to get yourself a golf ball. Do I have one? Somebody brought me back one from the States. You get yourself a golf ball and you rub the bottom of your feet on a golf ball You can also pull on your joints and hear the cracks, and you can roll your feet around. So basically, put your toes under, roll them like this, put your toes like this, roll them like this, and just start to feel all the little cracks and pops. My other favorite foot massage is to find an edge of a table or the sides of a step and just scrape and roll your foot, the ball and the heel on the edge, and you'll start to feel such delight. Lighter feet, less swollen feet, less purple feet, less aching feet. The other amazing thing that you can do for your feet, Corey, and anybody else, I recommend it to everyone. Soak your feet. Warm water, hot water, rosemary, salt. It's going to soften the tissue. It's going to start draining out the toxins. The feet deal with the heaviest load of toxins that basically they're draining everything from the uterus, from the lower back, from the legs, from the knees, from the ankles. So when you open the exit point of your feet, other stuff will start to drain and open. So, especially if you do yoga and you work on those feet, you soften your feet, you get more circulation into your feet, and you get your body more efficiently purging toxins, the rosemary and salt are gonna suck out some of those toxins. You can do Epsom salt, magnesium salt, you can do baking soda, which is another salt, or I like to use the local one that I have, which is the Andean pink salt, which is amazing. So natural salts, I recommend. I usually do a sprig of rosemary. If you don't grow your own rosemary, you don't want to spend the money, get yourself some drops. You can also use apple cider vinegar, which is used a lot in Chinese medicine. All of that is going to start to drain and detox your feet. And I have to laugh. I have washed so many people's feet. It's the first thing I do in a session. I fill up a big tub. I have an extra water heater and I have people soak while I'm working on their hands and while I'm talking about the basics of bodywork and while they're sharing, and you can actually see the color return, the swelling reduce, and they'll feel a difference in their hips, their knee issues, and their ankle issues from a foot soak. And that is what Jesus did. Jesus was washing people's feet, soaking people's feet because they carry so much and they detox so much. And for anybody that knows about somatic stuff, the root chakra and the second sacral chakra are where a lot of trauma lies. So there's a lot of heavy density. It's also why women tend to have a pear shape. I can get all sorts of layers into that. But for feet, soak them, squish them, roll them, crack them. And the other thing is, I'll do kind of like how I was saying that the athletes will swing out their arms and stuff. They're not doing that. It doesn't look that dumb, but you know what I'm trying to say. I just don't have space and don't want to knock anything off my desk. That if they swing open, you can do that with your feet too. Kick them out, flick them out, and you'll actually feel cracks and realignments and readjustments just after you soak the feet and you just flick them around because that centrifugal force will flick, bring out the toxins, the lactic acid, the buildup, and it'll start breaking up that calcification. Okay. So, Corey, I hope I helped you with your feet. And I also think it's such an important exit point. Everybody take care of your feet. All right. Epsom salt, yes. For salt, any kind of salt, use whatever is available to you. Even if you don't use salt, you're going to get a lot of benefits from this foot soak, but the salt does help. Cool. All right. Endometriosis, I'm going to get there. That one's deep. That one's tender. That one's about female creativity, trauma issues. So I'll get to that one in a second. Holding a lot in the middle, how can I release it? Okay, so there's a few different layers for this. Thank you for asking, Dragon's Nest. Most of us are holding our stomach all the time, and especially women, but more recently men, just from the subconscious desire to have the good posture and have the flat tummy and not have our belly hanging out. So this is going to feel really counterintuitive. You're going to want to practice stretching out the stomach from the inside and giving it space to move. And so That big belly breath that I was saying, where you fill it up like an inflated ball, let's all do it now. Push it out. Like a big pregnant lady, actually push your belly into a ball shape, like a beer belly, like a gut. Now watch it. Watch it melt. Slow it down. Visualize it. Gurgling. I like to do the visualization of like overcooked pasta, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as you kind of get that thought into your mind and you send it down to your body will start to respond. So breathe into the belly again, push it out. Then watch it. And make a noise. It helps to vocalize. We're so quiet and I'm like, let's get weird. Okay, so do that with your belly. The other big thing to not hold in your body in the stomach is to actually do a few checks throughout the day. If you find yourself different times of the day sucking your belly in, just check it and just say to it, remind it, you're safe, loosen. So this a lot of times is arched back, high posture that people are trained to be very upright, where I'll just say, just watch it melt. So can you feel me when I do that? Can you feel yourself when I do that? Actually, just tell it to soften. During my night meditation, I do what's called a progressive relaxation, where I focus on a body part, I talk to it, and I tell it to relax because my body was so constricted and still sometimes is, and I have to actively tell it, you're safe. You can let go. You can soften. And I visualize it wiggling out, melting. Sometimes I see it just liquefies. Sometimes I see steam coming off. But I want you to just practice paying attention when you're holding versus when you feel looser. And you can actually see that there will be different times in your day that you actually have anxiety. So most anxiety is held in the stomach. So big ball belly breath, actually stretch out those muscles. The other one is tight close. If you wear constricting, tight clothes, and anybody who has a bra that takes it on at the end of the day, you will see that there is this full body muscle release. So if you have very tight stuff around your middle, think about finding things that are a little less tight. So anything elastic is going to be kind of putting compression on that. And I found that my anxiety went down enormously when I started wearing looser clothes. Then scan in, am I holding? Can I release it just with my mind? Can I stretch it out throughout the day? A lot of these things are also subtle that you can do them anytime, anywhere. The other one that I really like for stomach release is what I call the peanut butter jar. Okay. So this is a visual of, you know how like if you're scraping a peanut butter jar with a spoon, and I don't know, there's so many peanut allergies now. So scraping a jar, but I always called it the peanut butter jar. I want you to visualize your hips making a giant circle standing up. All right, fine. Let's do it on the internet. All right. So I'm standing up. Here are my hips. I'm going to scooch my hips around like I'm scraping out the edge of a peanut butter jar. So this one, hope everybody enjoyed that. That you're basically just making the biggest, wobbliest, wiggliest circle, feeling if there's tight spots. But the reason I like these big hip circles is it's actually pressing on the organs and massaging the organs. So after I do the big ball belly breath, filling up big, watching it gurgle. So the big thing is not to tighten the muscles, it's to loosen the muscles. Okay. So it's not holding, It's not flicking, it's not controlling, it's scraping, it's wiggling. So there's a different energy level there. So it is similar to belly dancing in the movement, but the intention is not control and beauty. It's really just finding the full extent of the joint. It's finding the full expression of the hips. So tilt the pelvis forward, tilt the pelvis back, tilt the pelvis forward, tilt the pelvis back. It's not about holding. It's not about constricting. It's not about pushing. It's about loosey goosey retraining hard, dense, constricted, tense, held tissue to chill out. And it takes time because we subconsciously hold hundreds of thousands of time. So you will notice after the belly breath and after the peanut butter jar scrape that you will fart every time. And then take a little walk and you will go, I split all over my computer. Um, because all of those gases that were held, that are bloating, that cause stomach cramps, that are holding, they will just loosen. And if you let that out, girl, you are not going to be holding, but you'll have the flat tummy. So it's a funny thing. You'll actually get the flat tummy, not from holding it in, but giving it space to purge out. And then it's not holding onto the fat to protect hard, dense tissue that becomes fragile. Like, I want you to think of something. If you're throwing an egg, how do you want to catch it? Do you want to hit it like that or do you want to give it some give, right? So there's a protective, I don't even know if this makes sense. Our body protects dense, fragile, brittle, hard, hot tissue by putting fat on top. So this is what I noticed every time. And I know this is not the mainstream, but every time I will work on someone's density, blockage, stagnant tissue, pain area, same, all of a sudden that area that had a little bit of fat will just flush off like I'm not needed. It was just protection. It was just try to keep you soft from a break if you get hit. So it's wild. People will get more cut. Their muscle definition will increase because they don't have that fat layer that's trying to protect any jostle that we might have that will break that thing inside. All right, so that is loosening up the stomach. And again, everybody can do that one. Now, I will say pay attention because that hip, stomach, second and third chakra, that will all start moving out the sciatic and out the feet eventually. So you'll feel it kind of crawl along the back of the leg, along the butt cheek, into the back of the knee, through the ankles, and then out the feet. So all of that tummy stuff, you definitely want to support with feet, stretching, rolling, cracking. Same thing with flicking out the knees, getting a little crack, banging on the lower legs as well, and then doing a little squish and roll and stretch. And so you don't have to do all of this all the time. I know that these things can feel a bit like, wow, this is a lot of information. This is a lot of stuff I have to do. I got to bang, I got to crack, I got to scrape. Do it little by little. It is cumulative. I really, really mean that. It's cumulative. So, like, if you do 5 minutes a day over the course of a week, that's like a good half hour massage. That's how much it adds up. And then you do it every week, but you're not having to pay to go to a massage therapist um, every week or every month. Not that most people do. So it's cumulative. But the other thing is, if you keep putting the toxic stuff in your body, like the super inflammatory hyperprocessed foods, if you put all the toxic emotions, so like rage, horrible doom scrolling content, that stuff is hot and inflammatory. The more you put in, the more you have to take out. The more you hold back, the more you have to take out. So anything that wants to release and get out of the body, let it out and don't put more in. That's why the awareness of holding, that's crunching, 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 the more you can go, oh, let my shoulders drop. Let my back uncinch. Let my jaw stop clenching. If you're a guy, sometimes you'll feel that hand close up. It's a symbol of aggression. I don't like to be here. I feel a little bit like I want to punch the person in front of me, subconsciously, of course. So start to notice more than anything, if there's any takeaway, start to notice what's going on in your body when you're tense, when you're not, when you're breathing, when you're not, where you're holding, and when and where and why. Because if you're not in a safe place, your body will respond faster than your brain. It will go closed off, right? Okay, so let's see. We went through feet, dry and purple. Oh, the other thing with dry, exfoliation is real in terms of getting dead skin off and getting more regeneration in. What I notice is that when I work out someone's blockage, their skin will immediately start to um, come off. It'll like old calluses will start to break apart and come off because there's new skin rising to the top and the old skin starts to be like, I'm not needed anymore. So there is a certain amount that some exfoliation, because it's that scraping and scratching that we were talking about, that it'll actually help the healing process as well. There's a lot of layers to this. All right, endometriosis. This one's deep. Let me just sit for a second. First of all, I'm so sorry that you're suffering with this. Second of all, I'm so sorry it causes so much pain. So I'll take a deep breath. And I'm feeling a lot of jaw holding right now. So watch that. I'm also going to have you guys scrape your head because if you don't know, a lot of heat leaves the head, a lot of dry skin cells, aka dandruff, a lot of sweat comes off the head, a lot of people lose their hair and age up at the head first. So let's bring some oxygen, let's bring some movement. So I'm using my nails this way, but also I use the back of my nails. Cool. Take a deep breath in, fill the head. Watch it like steam off. A lot of people are in their head and have a lot of pressure up there. That one's really great. You can feel it, right? Swipe the face too. It's great. Okay, endometriosis. All right, endometriosis is feminine issues. The deeper root being traumas towards women, not being supported as a woman, feeling attacked, judged, criticized as a woman, mother issues, maternal lineage, lost children. So it's a very tender, very vulnerable, and very painful inner area. So it can also represent lack of support in the life. So the first step I'll give you for endometriosis, Nikki, is take a deep breath into the uterus. Feel the uterus. So that belly breath, but bring it lower. And this is second chakra and root chakra stuff, guys. So everybody can do it. It's not just for women. Breathe into it. Watch it soften. Okay, so I'm getting a few downloads for your specific stuff. When women were bleeding historically, ancient history, there was a held sacred container for them to relax and do nothing. We tend to be in a very masculine, go, go, go productive world. The moon's cycle is connected to the cycles of the moon. We, as women, are connected to the cycles of the earth and the calendar. So there was a time to be very productive and there was a time to rest for women. We no longer have that. So when we are way out of balance with the yang, that's masculine Chinese medicine energy, but it's just like that go, 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 productive, never stop, discipline every single day, work at it, like go, go, go. Women need certain times to decompress. The body is purging an enormous amount of blood. So it puts so much stress on the body to not be warm. So wear the warm hot water bottle, cover the belly during that time, wrap a little I have like a scarf that I put around my womb during that time that keep it warm, keep it supple, keep it soft because those cramps get cold. So that's one thing that'll help alleviate the cramps and start to bring more oxygen into the area and help your body eliminate the blood more easily because it's a constriction that doesn't release. And of course, it's cells of outside of the uterus that are not supposed to be there. That body can actually learn to clean them out. Um, Warm, cover your feet. Wear warm socks, cover your lower body, do the foot soaks, anything that's going to help the bottom channel. So, feet, ankles, knees, hips, legs, anything that's going to be helping to support from the lower body, ground, slow down will help with endometriosis and all feminine issues. And also checking in with belief systems around, do I judge myself for being a woman? Do I resent my period? What issues do I have around feeling wanting to be a mother with my mother? There's just a lot of layers there. So it's a very, yeah, it's a very hard and painful and very internal one that I won't go farther into, but supporting the bottom part of your body with warmth, with softness, with nurturing, and with groundedness and slowing down during that time, rest during that time, lay down during that time, if you can, creating a space for that time that really is sacred and you lose a lot of blood. The other thing is definitely be adding in really soft, round movements. This kind of stuff that I do, this is big circles, leaning from hip to hip, moving the pelvis back and forth. We don't move our pelvis beyond certain activities. It doesn't have a lot of space to move in our modern world. So our hip socket was meant to move the whole way around. It's a ball joint, and we pretty much fix it like this as we walk, or we're just sitting and totally stagnant. So the hips get so stagnant for so many of us because we used to walk in nature. We used to squat to make food and to poop. We used to reach and climb and use the full hip socket. Now our hips are so locked in, so tight. So the more movement that you can get without the push and the stretch, because that becomes unsafe and then seals back up to kind of protect itself. So the more you can soften, stretch, support the hip health, the better for any female issues and any support issues and any creativity, inspiration issues, rooted issues, grounded issues. That stuff is all connected. If you guys want me to get deeper into that, let me know. So I am opening for anybody that's joined in or just passively listening. I did open up the space for questions about specific body pains, what they mean, how to support them, how to deepen healing for them, etc. Um, this is stuff I usually only do in one-on-one time, but I try to open it up so that people can get some deeper insight on what's going on in the body energetically, emotionally, mentally, and physically, and how to support different levels and layers of it. You're so welcome. Any other questions? We reviewed some foot health because it's a detox point. Any detox point or exit point is the stinky, the smelly, and guess what? That's where the lymph nodes are. Crazy, huh? This stuff is all connected. It's a perfectly designed system. This is why I call it the regenerative bodywork system. So it starts very basic, pump with life, put in life, and don't put in crap and hot and inflammatory and poison crap. Then you'll have less to take out. Um, the body is also it's crystallization of everything that you've ever experienced here on planet Earth. It's energy crystallized into matter. So the foot soak, I like doing like a 15-minute, 20-minute foot soak. I like doing a big old tub with some soft cushions to sit on so my hips are supported. I usually make like a little side tea kettle so I can warm it up a couple times. But as long as it feels good, I mean, if you just want to sit on the side of your bathtub, people don't even have bathtubs anymore, which is a shame. People should really take body soaks instead of those cold plunges. Goodness. And not saying cold plunges are bad, they have their place. I just think they're overused and they shock people's systems into fight or flight. They do create certain levels of regeneration and lowering inflammation, but I think in the long term, it actually causes muscle constriction and shock to the body. So, to use it wisely, it's a very big trend right now. And I think it's actually because people don't feel. It's almost a way to feel something. Everybody's so numb, disassociated. So somebody asked how long to soak their feet. 10, 15 minutes if you want longer, but pay attention to how it feels. Sometimes after 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, that was enough. Sometimes if I do too long, it doesn't feel good. And then, oh, another nice thing I like to do with the foot soaks is get a little scouring pad, like a what's it called? Exfoliation stone, like a pumice stone, and get the dead skin off because it's going to help that body regenerate the cells and get rid of the dead stuff. Cool. Let's see. We reviewed some endometriosis and some circulation for feet and some hip support and what it means. So, if anybody else has any questions, let me know. And it can be about bodywork stuff. Basically, today, if you're just tuning in, we went through kind of the really quick overview of the system and then deeper levels of how to feel how dense the tissue is, symbols that the body is showing you to show that things are dying off and not getting enough circulation, which is things that are purple, things that are calloused, um, spider veins, and varicose veins. Guess what? The body is going to try to bring in life force. So if your tissue is so dense underneath those, the blood can't get through and it will pop up and it will cause spider veins and varicose veins. So as soon as you soften the tissue underneath so the blood can flow through the tissue the way it was meant to, those will disappear. Pretty crazy easy. All right, vagus nerve. Okay. There is a lot around the vagus nerve right now, which is great. I'm so glad people are more aware of the somatic stuff. The vagus nerve is connected to a lot of different parts. So, what she's talking about is like right in here. So, this guy is an area that starts to fight, flight, freeze. It carries a ton of information. There's a ton of flow through this area. So, the second that you soften this area, your brain stops going to fight, flight, freeze. So, anytime we're in the amygdala, the animal brain, the fight, flight, freeze, past version brain, instead of the forward thinking, problem solving, collaborative brain, which is the neofrontal cortex, the brain is like, kill or be killed. I'm stressed. I'm anxious. So, first pump. So, this one here, this is actually connected to ears and jaw and shoulders, right? So a lot of people who have this have throat issues. This is everybody. Everybody's got vagus nerve stuff. So let's see. Where do I start for this one? First, we're going to do the yawn breath because this is going to open up this whole area, right? So the yawn breath is going to stretch and oxygenate this, which is connected directly to the vagus nerve. So take a big inhale and stretch the face as big as you can. Rock and roll the jaw around and then start right in here and wiggle, 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 wiggle. Behind the ears too. Oh, and I do the tongue out because it's a fire breath. Basically, when you have a lot of inflammation that you're getting rid of from this area and your throat gets scratchy, or if you're starting to get a cough, do a fire breath where you breathe in across your tongue and out and get the heat out. So you're going to wiggle this area, behind and right in this spot, right behind the jawbone under the ear. Everybody push it. Move the jaw around. Feel how it moves under your fingers. So I'm just pressing in, and you'll feel, ooh, there's some tightness. Ooh, there's some tenderness. Ooh, that jawbone is connected right by the ears and right here. So the other one you can do is grab behind, take the thumbs, and just do some circles, press and roll. Press and roll. Circles, press in. Sometimes I press and wiggle. Sometimes I go around. Feel for yourself what feels nice. See how the tissue moves underneath it. You don't have to be a massage therapist to be able to understand what's going on in your body. So move the jaw around, feel the cracking and popping. This can cause TMJ. It can cause tinnitus. It can cause deafness over time. Um, and it's basically just, yeah, this whole area where we've got communication stuff, listening stuff, um, things like that, and just allowing the body to turn off fight, flight, freeze. So bringing the breath, softening the jaw helps the vagus nerve. Another one that's great, I did the claws. So I have claws, and I'm going to scratch the back of the head, feel where there's knots, where there's bumps, behind the ears. Who likes that? That's nice, right? So we're basically just going to break up some of the dense tissue. We're going to bring some circulation into the area. We're going to feel it. We're going to feel the little bumps, touch with the fingers, and actually feel the bumps and the knots and the nodules in there. So that's going to help that basically amygdala, back of the brain, ears, jaw, vagus nerve. So then this travels down through here and across here. So you can see I call this the type AA, because if you have women that have to control everything, they lose their neck completely. Mine's dropped about 2.5 inches, but I still have a little bit. But all of this idea, I have to carry it. I'm on my own. A lot of times that creates this shoulder issue that also feeds straight into the vagus nerve. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to chill out. Short story for vagus nerve. Let the heat out. Exhale, sigh, wiggle. So much of yoga got tight, controlled. And I tell people to find the yin, to find the feminine, to find the flow, to find the let go, is to soften, relax, open, chill out. Cool? All right. We asked about foot, so we asked about vagus nerve. And are there any other questions? I can answer a final thing about body work. There's a lot of other layers I didn't get into, but just as a reminder, feel free to bang on your arms. If you actually go to Asia, you'll see old grandmas just hitting themselves. I love it. Stretch and wiggle, squish and roll, crack and pop. This is what I do every day. And one of the tricks for me is to see what the full range of motion of a joint is. So if you have any lack of flexibility or frozen joints, that means the tissue is tight, it's holding it in place, it's going to start pressing on nerves. So when we start to open up the joints, because that's where most of the injury happens, that's where most of the calcification happens, that's where most of the surgeries happen. So start paying attention to the joints of where they get so locked up, so hardened. So we're talking tennis elbow. So here's another one that you guys can do. Along this line where the top of the arm connects to the bottom of the arm, your little middle armpit, stick your thumb in there and wiggle. Stick your thumb and wiggle. Wiggle around upper arm. Wiggle around these 2 points right here by the elbow. I call them pins. And you'll feel there's a tenderness in there. So start to get to know what's in your joint. There's also a spot on both sides of and when you open it up, there's like a fatty area. And then right beside the bone, on the two spots on the side of the bone, wiggle in there. Press in and wiggle. So the wiggle is to feel if it moves or not, to feel what's going on inside, to see if the tendon moves, to see if the fascia moves, to see if it's tight, hard, to see if it's tender. So you're just going to start to get to know it and wiggle it. And it's also a massage. So you're going to start getting more blood flow. So then once you kind of wiggle the joint, and you can do that anywhere, press, wiggle, get to know it. You can stick a thumb into the tender spot. Don't push too hard that it starts to lock up, just enough where it feels nice. Press in and then flick. Did you hear the crack? Wasn't that nice? So you're basically gonna press into this armpit area. Feel if there's like a tendon in there that's hard as a rock and see if you can get it to get a little bit ropey, a little wiggly. And then you can kind of flick it out. So I do this a lot. I just press on a point that's tender and then flip it. So this is the stuff that it doesn't look Instagram pretty. It doesn't look cool, but it's more about what you sense inside, how it feels, and if it releases to get more blood flow in there. So start to focus on those joints, start to pay attention to the full range of motion. If you can't lift your arm up and back, well, you got something tight in there. So start to dig in a little bit, wiggle around a little bit, stretch it in different ways because you want your body to have the full range of motion that a shoulder can go back, it can go forward, and it can turn. You can't really see. I have multiple sweaters on and a poncho. So you want that joint to go back and forth. You want it to go up and down. You want it to go around. And if you only have a fixed joint going in one direction, there's something tight holding it in that position so you can start to work it out. Cool, cool, cool. Kevin, thank you for being here. Catherine, Selena, Alicia, Joyful, Gregory, Rhonda, I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for joining in. Lee, I didn't mention you. Thank you guys for joining Greg67. We've already been in for about an hour 18. I'm wondering, where's everybody coming from? If everybody can drop it in the comments, just for time zone things. Rhonda just said, appreciate this. You've given me permission to relax more. Oh my God. I can't even imagine how wonderful the world would be if everybody relaxed more on so many levels. Less triggerable, less divisive, less reactive and like regretting things. Cause if we like took a pause to be like, oh, wiggle, wiggle, and somebody does something, we might not be so like fight, flight, freeze, kill or be killed. So, Selena, no worries. Take care. Come back in when you're ready. Hawaii, wonderful. Everybody, deep breath in, take up space, stretch stuff out, move it around, wiggle in your chair. Make some noises, make some farts. Let things go. This is what I call the let go state, the receptive state when we're not so tight around our thoughts, not so tight in our body, not so reactive in our emotions. It really is so important to watch the body if it's holding to drop it like it's hot. All right. Thanks for mentioning that you're in Hawaii. Thanks everybody for being here. I know we've got some people from the UK. Awesome. Which is super duper early. And I appreciate that so many of you guys stayed with me for so long and stuck with the technical difficulties I was having. If there's any more questions, put them in the box. Drink lots of water, y'all. Cool it down, purify your system, get your blood flowing. 70% water is us. 70% of the earth is water. Purified, blessed, holy water. Gonna pull a card to close things out, because why not? That one flipped quick. Use your voice, expansion, freedom. Cool, cool. Expansion, right? So I find that the body reflects the energy. So most people are really in the head or really checked out. They're not even paying attention to this thing. So the throat, we did talk about the biggest nerve, and I was having a scratchy throat all night and drinking a lot of water. This card is all about taking up space physically. So a lot of women make ourselves really small, cross our legs, tighten it up, minimize, diminish our stature. A lot of guys are taught to chest out, wide hips, open, a sprawled display. So expanding our physical body helps. Taking up space, you're allowed to take up some space. You're allowed to wiggle and look a little bit weird when you're taking up space. Using your voice. So that yawn breath is basically going to stretch out the vocal cords, stretch out the mouth. We are all here as a collective group on Substack of writers, of creatives, of poets, of musicians, of people that want to speak. And we've all found this really beautiful, safe place in Substack. And at least I hope you have, that we're starting to be able to use our voice and feeling safer to be authentic. So, as we voice, a lot of support in this area and this area will help open up both physically and symbolically, metaphorically, because they're so related. One actually opens up another one. So, if you open up your vocal cords, that's why I kept saying vocalize. I get people to practice just I burped, to make different sounds because we are allowed certain containers, certain frequencies, certain ways of communicating. If you do a live, it tends to look in a certain way. If you do a YouTube, it looks a certain way. So this is about using your voice, practicing different sounds, vocalizing it, because so many of us, for so many lifetimes, and in this lifetime, we're told to sit down, shut up. The seers, the truth tellers, we are being asked in this time to start to voice more truthfully, more honestly, more bravely. Courageously is probably a better word, but whatever. You understood what I meant. So this is really going to support the writing. It's going to support you being able to voice truthful things in your real life with people around you. Because I know there's some people that they have a certain safety to do it anonymously or within a certain community they've approved of, but they wouldn't necessarily post these things for their friends and family or their neighbors or things like that. So that's okay. We have to start and have a safe place, but we are being asked to start to say truthful things and have integrity in the same way in all places. So feel free to take a big inhale through the back of the throat this time. Feel the air enter and stretch out your whole throat. So, not just the yawn breath from the face, but all the way back. Feel the neck muscles open, expand, and then I want everybody to vocalize something. Vocalize something. It's just you in front of your screen, your computer, your device. So make some noises. I know some people have learned to cry in silent. I did. I know people have learned to hold back their words and not offend people. But this is really about expansion and using your voice and having the freedom to be you, the freedom to voice as you. So I hope that supports it. Do that yawn breath, stretch out the neck, stretch out the throat, do it from the inside out. And then let's all just wiggle the head around. Because too many people are discombobulated, disembodied head, not connected to their body. And this is the point of connection between head, masculine thinking, linear thinking, processing, top level, and body, intuitive, sensory, feeling connected, body language, dance. This is the connection point between the masculine and feminine. So, as we unify, so above as below, we find freedom, unity, expansion to be able to voice authentically. And so it is. All right, friends. I think that was it for tonight. Thanks for sticking with me. For anybody in the replay, thanks for sticking through the technical difficulties and the shout outs in the live. Feel free to come back into a live with some prepared questions, things that come up, because I don't offer free consultation anymore, other than like a 15-minute. Okay, I do offer the free consultation. So if you guys want to reach out one on one about some direct stuff, or see if you want to work together, I do have that on my store, which I launched this week. But I don't offer just like people to send me messages in chat, send me DMs, because I was getting so many trying to ask about, what does this mean? How can I support this? How do I move tennis elbow? So I opened this space up for the kind of collective community lives. Otherwise, it's a paid session on my site. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Have a wonderful night. I hope you all sleep in just such a profound and deep and easy manner to restore, regenerate, and feel really good. And if you're just starting your day from the UK, you're crazy, because who is up at this hour? Martin, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, let's see. I just have a few more comments. This is one of the most knowledgeable and instantly effective bodywork videos I've ever watched. I'm really glad that you found it helpful and you felt some shifts in your body. Uh, Thank you so much. You're a gift to this world. Glad I got up to watch. Gracias, Megan. Thank you. Very good of you. And so good to get to know you. You guys too. Seriously, I appreciate you so much. Truly, deeply. And I'm so glad to have met you and connected here. All right. Take care.